Hello everyone, I'm Mary Lewza, my name is Mary, and for the math manipulative assignment, I picked the Big Time Classroom Clock Kit. There are two reasons that I picked this, well actually three. When I saw it and I knew I could use it, but one reason is I vividly remember using the clock when I was in school to learn about time and how the clock works and all that stuff. And then also in block 1 I was assigned to first grade and they were learning about time and money for the most part of when I was there. And sometimes I'd walk in and the teacher would say Tiger it, and I would start teaching them how to read the clock. So in this kit it involves two different things, 25 things total. You have the classroom clock, which is just the big standard clock that the teacher has. Kids can come up here and touch it, they can see it, everything. The back has a little knob that you can turn to move your hands, because you have your hour and your minute hand. Or there is like a little handle here that you can also drag to move it, but this way you're in the way. So I think I would prefer using this. Now, this one also, since it has both hands, as your hour hand moves, your minute hand is also moving. As you're seeing, our minutes are moving faster. So some clocks don't involve that. They don't have both hands moving, and you just have to like move this here, move this here. This one doesn't actually budge. If you try to move it, it only moves if this hand budges or if this hand moves. So this is important for kids to see because time is continuous and they need to understand that as the hour moves, the minute moves. Another thing that I noticed about this clock right away is that, it of course has the minutes up here counting by 5, since that's how you look at it, but it also has the dots so students can see in between. So if it's 7:36, they see that it's on the dot and not right on the 35. But also, on the 12, it doesn't have the 00. This is something that really does easily confuse kids when they're learning about time, and I did see that when I was in the classroom with them. They would often put 1:60 because they would see on the clock 60. So it's important to make sure your kids understand that there are 60 minutes in the hour, and that's why it has this 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, which represents the full hour. So that's something to keep in mind when you're teaching your kids this, is that that's going to be something that's easily confused, and to make sure you kind of emphasize that. Also in this box, you have mini clocks. There are 25 of these, so if you have more than 25 students, they'll have to share, of course. If you have less, they each have their own. This does not have a knob on the back. It's just a small version, hour and the minute hand. It's not open, so I'm not going to take it out, but you can see the students can obviously play with this and move it around, and you can use this for formative assessment, which I will share in a moment. So I immediately knew to look for first grade, since I was assigned to first grade when they were learning about it, but I found two different standards that could fall under this. So like I said, first grade, it's under the whole standard of 1 MDR6. Use appropriate tools to measure, order, and compare intervals of length and time, as well as denominations of money to solve real-life mathematical problems and answer relevant questions. So you see, that's a big standard. It involves money and time, which makes sense because my kids were learning how to do both when I was in there. But the one that involves the clock is going to be 1 MDR6-2, so it's a second substandard. Tell and write time in hours and half hours using analog and digital clocks, and measure elapsed time to the hour on the hour using a predetermined number line. So we're using clocks in that standard. Very straightforward. You can focus on using an analog clock first and then digital clock. Your students are probably going to be more familiar with a digital clock. They see that time everywhere. It's on the oven, it's on the microwave, it's on their phones. If they still have alarm clocks by their table, they're going to see that everywhere. Analog clocks are very important to learn, and a lot of kids don't know how to read a clock anymore. So that's first grade. Second grade, we have this whole standard is going to be 2 MDR6, solve real life problems involving time and money. So you see that one is still kind of broad, involving time and money, but it's just some solving real life problems. So it's a short standard. The clock is going to fall under the sub 1 standard. Tell and write time from analog and digital clocks to the nearest 5 minutes, and estimate and measure elapsed time using a timeline to the hour or half hour on the hour or half hour. So, in this one, they're using clocks to look at the whole hour and the half hour. So you can see, like, 1st and 2nd grade, they use the clocks. I'm sure that there's other grades that continue to learn through as they get into the depth of it. Now, when you're teaching how to read a clock, you always want to start with the O clock, showing them what that looks like on a clock with the hour and the minute hand. And then then after that, you want to go to quarter past or half past. They know, like, they're already kind of working with fractions, so not really, but they kind of know, like, what half is and what quarter is. They are being introduced to that. That's what I do remember that. So that's how our teacher showed the kids how to do that. And then from there, you want to get in with the different scenarios. What time will this show? What time will this show? So a way that I would use this for formative assessment to get immediate feedback from my students. So I would have all my kids come to my little classroom carpet. You could have them at their desk as well if you want. I would also honestly hand these out during a little assessment or a worksheet so they can work at their desk individually using these. I think that would be very helpful, and I don't think it would hurt just to have a clock. But a way that I would, like, introduce this to my students, bring them to the carpet. Every student gets these. Have my clock. I'd show them the times, like, all right, this is 7 o'clock, this is 7:30, whatever. But I'm going to start, I'd start with the o'clocks. This is what 7 o'clock looks like. And then I'd be like, okay, can you show me what 3 o'clock looks like? And I turn mine around. I'd probably adjust it to whatever it needs to be. And have all my students, they'd be sitting there working on it. And then I tell them, okay, once you have it, keep it to your chest. Don't show anybody. And then once everyone's ready, all right, put it in the air, let me see it. And they hold it up, and I can see if they are understanding the concept, if the time is representing 3 o'clock. And then we do the same thing for the half hour, for the quarter past, for, eventually you get into 10:51 or something like that. So, this has the dots as well, so they can place it exactly where it needs to be. But again, can you show me what this looks like? Give them a couple minutes. All right, show me. They hold it up. I can see what every student has. I can see if they are on it, if they have the answer right. All right, good, they got it. If they don't have the answer right, all right, we need a little bit more practice. And then I would show them on my clock what the answer would look like. So that is a way that you can use these tools in your classroom, keep the kids engaged, get immediate feedback, and 2 different standards that you would find. So you can use this in multiple grades. If you are not assigned to 1st grade, maybe you are assigned to 2nd grade, you can use a clock either way. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you get some good, I wouldn't say advice, but good ideas from this. Thank you for watching.